Hey guys, welcome back, and this video is a monthly recap. Now, I'm uploading this a little late just because I've been so busy, but it's going to be the best one I've ever recorded, so I really hope you stay tuned and can learn something really important from this. Basically, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my process in the first half of August and the second half. And as you can see from the analytics on screen, I changed everything. Alright, and this is just every trading day that I've traded. And literally the middle of August, like the first half of August, I was very unprofitable. Then the second half, I was only profitable. And so I am really going to break down exactly what made me profitable this month, and also just plans for the next month, and I'm just going to be talking about a lot. So let's get right into it. So as you can see right here, I have it filtered from 8/1 to 8/31. That's all of August. Alright, and as you can see, the middle of the month, that's when I changed everything. And I literally recorded a video on that day that I changed everything. That video is called, I Found Out Why I Am Unprofitable. I constantly recommend that video just because that is literally the switch that made me profitable so far. So these are just overview of my stats. My win rate goes down some of the days because I started longing here and there, and I am very unprofitable in longing. But I'm using very, very small size, so I'm just learning. This is the month calendar. This is actually crazy. As you can see, the P&L is very low until this week. And that's because on my certain setup that I learned and that I do consistently now, I started moving my risk a lot down. So now I'm getting better than 1-to-1 risk reward compared to here where I was literally getting less than 0.5 to 1 risk reward. So I really fixed a lot of my problems. So let's go into details. You can see some of that. This month, my win rate, 28%. Not very good. But again, that's counting the first half. If we filter from the middle to end, then that'll show you how profitable this setup is and how I've changed, which I will later on today. So my max streak this month is 10. That's insane. Max consecutive losses 2. The most important thing about it, when I was losing, I was sized down to $10 risk per trade, and I was just losing very small, and my risk management was really good. And so when I was consistently losing, I wasn't losing that much. And so once I finally got it, I started sizing up, and now it's taking over all those losses and more. So largest gain, $23. Largest loss, $14 about. And then this is my total P&L, not including commissions and locate fees. And I did the math. It comes out to about $30 gain, about $30 to $40 gain with locates. It's net $40 gain about. You could look over all these stats if you want. Profit factor 2.4, that's pretty good. I'm striving for profit factor over 3 in September. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. You can kind of see my performance down here. I usually only trade pre-market and the first 30 minutes. I can't even trade after that. These are probably the beginning of August where I didn't have school. Performance of the week. We can look at my win-loss expectancy this month. That's that. Cumulative drawdown was only $24 at the maximum. And now I'm up $52. So as you can see, I kept my losses small. And when I started learning and when I started getting consistent at the setup, I sized up, and that made my P&L end at 52. So it's double the drawdown. So that's actually really important to notice. So now I'm going to show you guys kind of like the setup I was doing before, and I'm going to break it down and tell you why it was losing. All right. So bam, here it is. This is all the dates. This is the beginning of August where I was doing this system that I'm about to explain. As you can see, I mean, not too many trades, but it is very unprofitable. I was either losing big or winning very small, like scratch trade. And I'll show you the charts right now. So let's get into that. I'm going to show you 2 losing trades and 2 winning trades for this setup. But let me say that most of them were losing. And the month before August, you guys can go see that recap, I was unprofitable. And actually, something funny is, in that last monthly recap, I told myself I was going to be very, very mad at myself if I had switched my setup. And so I don't think myself a month ago would be mad looking at me now. But yeah, let's hop into the trades. So this is one of the losing trades. As you can see, this is the setup. I short confirmations and stuff confirmations. So anytime there's just a massive death candle, I short the pop. Anytime there's a stuff candle, a significant one with a lot of volume, as you can see here, I short the pop. Now, I just constantly got trapped. And that's because I was shorting the bottom of the range. Alright? Bao, Alex, everyone in MIC, they were shorting the top of the range. They would probably short this at 5 or 510. This is the resistance line. And they were probably covering at the support line where I was shorting. So I was literally shorting where Alex, Bao, and them were covering. And so, that seriously, I should have been short here at 5 instead of covering at 5. I just needed to flip that and I'll be profitable. Alright, that's one of the trades. And so hopping into now a winning trade of the setup. This is the best trade I have ever taken with this setup. I, for once, got 1R, 1-to-1 risk reward, and I don't know, this trade was good. It was actually midday. This is my only trade midday. So we're kind of consolidating up here, and then we break the support level. Alright, now there's so many people trapped up here. Now, I shorted. The reason this worked is because I shorted the top of the range. Because we snapped through this support level here, this 5-8 support level. We snapped through it, went down a lot, and then now the bounce is, the support becomes resistance. So with a big enough snap, you can short resistance, but my problem before was, I don't know, it was just never a good enough snap, or I just wasn't waiting for the right confirmations. But yeah, this was really good. I like my scale out. I like my scale in, because a lot of the time these zip candles, they do this, and then they go down more from, like, they only bounce 50%. My stop was literally like at 580, 582, 583. I almost got stopped down on this. But you could say that means I had a perfect stop. Got the most size I could get on this. So it was a very good trade. But still, the setup just, especially I think the market didn't like my setup. The death candles haven't been working. So here's a loss. Very similar looking trade. The problem is, you know, I have a daily recap on this. Just try to find the daily recap that is on the 6th or maybe the 7th. It's MVST. So you can see that setup. I don't know exactly what was going through my mind. It's the same thing. I mean, it just didn't work. So I'm not too disappointed about this setup. This is another trade. I counted this one as a win because I covered support. This was a massive death candle. So, I mean, this setup is good. It just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. I don't know if that's the market or myself. Maybe nail and bail would be better because I usually held another half for lower down. But as you can see, covered, bottom tick that, but I top tick this. I top tick my stop. So it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, those were the trades. I mean, as you can see, they didn't work. And just for the fun of it, let's go to July. Yeah, as you can see, it's just I wasn't doing anything. Like nothing. Like the equity curve, constantly downtrending. It should be the opposite. It should be the opposite. So, what I did. So the question you're asking is, what exactly did you change? I changed everything. I just forgot death candles, stuff confirmations. They're out of my mind now. If I see a good one, I might play it still, just because I have good risk management on them, and they do offer good risk reward if you can get the right entries. But yeah, you're asking what I did. I literally flipped my equity curve the rest of the month. Like this is insane. So what I did was I asked MIC for advice, and I talk all about this in my I found out why I became unprofitable video. And in that video, I asked MIC for help. By the way, this video is not backed by MIC. But yeah, I asked MIC for help. Alright, the advice they gave me is to focus on broken day one stocks, outer lines. that means shorting the top of the resistance, covering the support. So I'm short before the death candle happens. When it happens, that's when I'm covering. Uh, and it sounds really like, oh yeah, do this. But seriously, just lines, line to line. So if you have a high day, pre-market high day, then we break down and then we make resistance levels as we're breaking down. Market open, there's these really good resistance levels. You short them, scale if you want, and you cover the support now. It's you go line to line. That's what NYC teaches. Um, so let me hop into some of my trades. Oh yeah, the other setup that has made me the most profitable is low hanging fruit. Now I had avoided this setup ever since I joined MIC because the risk reward is absolutely horrible, and that's because the way they teach is scaling, line, all like sometimes scaling $2, and so the risk reward is very bad, just because a lot of the time you have 3 bullets out, they're pretty wide, so you're risking let's say $100 on the trade, you're gonna make 10, you're gonna make $20 because a lot of the time only the first bullet hits and you get a nail bail. But if it hits all 3, then you get stopped, you lose a lot. But a lot of people in MIC are profitable doing it that way. It's just not for me. And so you need to try the way you like it. So the setup that I do, I was actually taught by an MIC member, is to short red to green on low-hanging fruit stocks that are below red to green. So when it pops to red to green, I short that. And I have a tight stop right above it. So it's amazing risk reward. Well, I don't know about amazing. Right now, it's based on my tracking, it's like 1 to 2 risk reward. But I'm working on getting my stops a little tighter even, because now with all the like 10 trades I've done on this, never has it reclaimed red to green. Never. Now I've seen it happen on the trades that I didn't take, and so you gotta have you gotta stick to your stop. You can't be like, oh, this never happens. So if it does reclaim, you gotta get out. But this is the setup that I do. Again, I go line to line. I cover the support. Sometimes I hold more for lower. But this is what has really led to this. So let me hop into some of my trades. Honestly, I have not taken that many trades on outer lines yet. I really want to because that's the setup that I understand a lot, and it's very high probability. It's good risk reward a lot of the time. So first, let me show you this trade, which is outer lines, okay? I don't have the full chart pulled up, but it's a broken day one stock. So this is pre-market on the left. It's broken down. It has a lot of people above, and it's broken down. All right? Now, I'm not looking to short view up here, but once we get this massive tank, then a pop, I'm shorting view up. I had one more order for 587. As you can see, it just barely missed my second order. But this was an amazing trade, and as you can see, I'm covering the support. There's a support here at 565, I cover that. There's a support here at 555, I cover that. I could have held more, but a lot of the time it bounces back, and you could reshort that too. But a lot of the time it does reclaim, it can reclaim, and so you gotta size down. A good rule of thumb I've seen many traders do is when they have their good full size win in the morning, they cut their size in half. And so if they want to keep trading and over trading, every time the size gets lower and lower because often you're going to give back gains. So that's a little tip right there. But yeah, this is an awesome trade. I wish I got my second bullet because that would have looked beautiful. But yeah, awesome trade. This is one of the good trades. Ride. This is a ticker, Ride. As you can see, it's perfect representation of it. Short red to green. This one is very close to red to green. And then often on market open, these things tank. And so we pop, reject. I should have added on this pop to view up. I mean, you can add there. And then you cover on the support. I had a 6-2 line drawn. And then I always hold a little bit more for a home run. But often I'm finding myself getting stopped out with my last bullet. So maybe I need to just cover all. I don't know. I'm going to be doing a lot of fine tuning. So the next trade is Kplt. This one, I need to short within 10 cents of red to green, depending on the stock's range. Always short close to red to green so you can have a tight stop over, and so your risk reward is good. I really like this trade because I covered on support really well. So 485, you can see support here. I bottom tick that. I have a 480 line drawn. I covered on that, and that was support. and then once we broke that, I had more orders down for 470, and then I had orders down at 560, and this was a 10% bullet that I stopped out on. But as you can see, I started drawing 1R, 2R, 3R lines just so I can see. It's not trading P&L, but I find I always cover early. So I made a new rule for myself where I can't cover until I get 1R. Of course, there's some reasons where I can get out earlier, but in general, I need to wait for 1R because these setups usually always hit 1R if you don't get stopped out. So far, the win rate for me is 100%. I know it's not 100% for over 100 trades. It's probably more like 85, 90%. But, you know, the risk reward is over 1-to-1, so that'll make up for the losses really well. So while I talk about future plans, I'll just show you guys my all my short trades so far. I'll just show you all that. These are all my short trades so far. Yeah, I went on an 8-trade win streak right when I joined MIC, and guess what? That's because I was trading low-hanging fruit. Now I've gone back to low-hanging fruits, and I'm also on a win streak. So that's a commonality that I see in all successful traders in MIC. Someone actually asked a question, and I don't know what the question was, but a lot of people were, they were answering what their best setup was, and what got them to be profitable, and what they're doing to be consistently profitable. The two most common answers, and pretty much the only answers I saw, were shorting broken day ones, outer lines, and low-hanging fruit. Literally, the advice they gave me is what they're doing, and that's what is profitable. And it's crazy to actually see this, that it actually is profitable. And so let me talk about some of my plans for the future on how I plan on changing or maybe not changing at all. Mid-August, I started listening to a lot of Brian Lee, and he is a very systematized trader. And so I kind of adopted that. And now I'm using a version of the R compound to scale up. It's actually my own version, and I'll be sharing it in depth in another video. It's actually a lot more exponential than R compound. And I just can't wait to show you. So stay tuned for that. Turn on the post notifications. But also, I just want to talk about how Brian Lee systematizes everything and how I adopted it. So I just want to, you want to trade consistently. If you have a setup, you want the charts to look the same every time. You want to have an if this, then do this. And so I made Google Docs for each of my setups, and it says enter here, risk here, cover here. Literally, it's so straightforward. I never question anything, and if I do, it means I'm emotional and I should not react off of that. And so it's just planning the trades ahead of time. So I have the full setup plan step by step. If this happens, then do this. Enter here, exit here, risk here, blah blah blah. Just a lot of extra stuff, warnings. So I just systematize everything. And so once you finally get a process that is consistent, I recommend systematizing it. Just go in a Google Doc and put your system step by step. So like, where would you like to enter? Where would you like to exit? Where is your risk? Warnings, cautions, stop out if you see this, things like that. Like, just plan everything ahead of time. So all you have to do when the setup appears is execute. All you have to do is execute, and no emotions are required. I'm still dealing with emotions pre-market while I'm in the trade, but the emotions don't matter. I don't act off of them because my system is there. I just need to follow that. If I deviate from that, I'm going to lose. And so that's why I like listing and writing down your system so you can follow it consistently every day. So bigger picture, my system is I'm going to trade my ideal red to green low-hanging fruits. If none of them are there, then I can trade broken day one outer lines. Now, I really want to get better at broken day one outer lines, but again, I'm under PET, and so I need to prioritize the setup that is very profitable versus losing on an unprofitable setup. When I do get over PET, then I can start learning other setups, but right now, I need to focus on what's most profitable so that I can actually grow over PET. So actually, in my notes for this video, I said I was going to provide a sneak peek of the sizing up system. So let me show you. Basically, I call it M compound. All right. Now, actually, let me go to the simulation. So I made a simulation, perfect case scenario, with my current stats of this setup that I trade, and just to see how fast I would grow if my setup does stick to its stats, and I follow the process. So M means that's how much you size up every week if you trade well. R is how much you risk per trade. So if I trade well this week, I go up $5 risk. If I trade well, $5, $5, $5. If I trade the whole month well, then my M is now 10. So I go from 50 to 60 instead of 50 to 55. I go 50 to 60 to 70, 80, and then that M doubles, and then that M doubles, that M doubles. It's so exponential. If I trade, if my setup is stays consistent with its stats, I will seriously be at $670 risk by the end of this year, and that is a lot of money. Like, as you can see, with 1.5 R, I would be making literally $1,000 per day at the end of this year. I think it's unlikely, but this is literally my stats. Not my stats on my win streak, the stats of the setup. 80% win rate, 1.5 RR. Currently, I'm getting about 0.8 R per trade, and so over time, I'm often noticing that I can just not cover at 1 R, I can just cover at 1.5 R. But I'm going to do a lot of fine tuning. My goal is 1.5 R. That's the goal I want. But also, my win rate so far has been way more than 80%, so that makes up for it. And so that's the general concept. I'm going to go way deeper in an upcoming video. So again, turn on the post notifications because you're seriously going to want to see this. I always recommend some kind of sizing up system, because if you don't, it's just, I don't know. I like systems because it's just, it tells you what to do. It's not like, you don't have to do a lot of thinking. You just have to think about how you want to do the system. You just create the system, and then you're done thinking. You're not like, oh, should I size up soon? Should I size up double my risk? Like, it's a slow but really fast process after a while. It's exponential. And that is probably going to be the end of this monthly recap. I think it's crazy how much progress just by flipping my setup, and focusing on low-hanging fruits. Now, I'm really, really hoping that my setup that I'm doing now stays consistent. It was good all of August. I was watching this setup. It was good all of August. And so I hope it stays good. And if it doesn't, then I'm excited to go to outer lines because I know those are good as well. But the risk reward and the win rate on this, it's kind of like a win-win. And so I can't wait to just keep putting out daily recaps. I can't wait till next month's recap, because that's going to be the true test of the setup. Actually, looking at my simulation based on my stats, I should have about one loser per week. And so I can't wait to see how close to reality this stuff is. So as you can see, this 1 week of the simulation was $40. My current week, I'll show you, was more than that. And that's also because, these 2 days, I just did September. But looking at my current, this is my current calendar. As you can see, I made 3.3 R, and I actually included fees. Honestly, fees weren't bad at all. I was shocked to see this, that I made net $50. That's crazy, because I've never been profitable. and this is a week too. Like, this will add up. So next week I'll be going on to $25. And so I'm really excited to see how this all plays out. I'm more excited than ever with trading. I'm learning so much. I've been reaching out to a lot of people. That's what I've been doing to learn. Honestly, you can only get so much from the videos, but you really need to find the right traders to talk to who are experienced, better than you, and provide good advice. I talk a lot to Alex, and I'm starting to reach out to other traders, just asking them questions on their scaling, their risk reward, their risk management in general, just stuff like that. Just reach out to people who are willing to help, and that will get you to the next level. That's how you get to the next level. You reach out to someone who's better than you and who knows the next level. So that's all I got for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe. I will see you in the next daily recap where I post every day. So turn on post notifications. I said that for the third time. So you get updated. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.